All right, today we're jumping into Sara L. Mastros' Introduction to Witchcraft. And what's so cool about this book is how it frames the whole practice. It's not about memorizing a bunch of ancient rules. It's about building something that's totally uniquely yours. I mean, listen to this quote. Right from the get-go, it's not about spells or rituals. It's about identity. The idea here is that witchcraft isn't some hobby you just decide to pick up. It's a calling, something you realize you are. Okay, so if being a witch is about who you are, what does that actually look like today? How do you practice it? Well, the book's answer is actually really simple. Here's the big idea. There are as many ways to be a witch as there are witches. Seriously. The book really pushes back against this idea of picking some pre-made style off a shelf. The whole point is to mess around, to experiment, and to build a practice that is 100% yours. But, before you can start building anything, you gotta understand the basic principles, right? It's like knowing the rules of physics. And that's where Mastros brings in this really core concept that's behind a lot of magic, something called sympathetic magic. Yeah, you can really think of it as the physics of the magical world. It's this simple but kind of mind-blowing idea that things are connected in ways we don't always see. And this one big theory, it gets broken down into two super useful, powerful laws that are basically the engine behind most spell work. So here they are, the two sides of the same coin. You've got the law of similarity. Pretty simple. Like affects like. So a doll that looks like someone can affect that person. Then you've got the law of contagion. This one is all about connection. If something was once part of you, like a piece of hair, it keeps that magical link, even when it's far away. And boom! Those two ideas, that's the foundation for so much spellcraft. Okay, so we have the how it works. Now, what do you actually use? Let's get practical and look at the actual toolkit. And this is what I love. The book makes it super clear that you do not need a bunch of expensive, hard-to-find stuff. Magic is in the everyday. We're talking water, salt, old railroad spikes, even just some embroidery floss. It's all about taking these simple, accessible things and charging them with your own intent. Now, it's not just physical stuff. Symbols are a huge part of the witch's toolkits. Think of them like a visual language, a shorthand for huge, complex ideas. Take the Ankh, for example. This ancient symbol from Egypt, it basically screams life force. Or how about the Hamsa, that open hand symbol? You see it everywhere. It's this powerful symbol of protection that shows up in so many different cultures and religions. It's called the Hand of Miriam, or Mary, or Fatima, which just goes to show how these powerful symbols can cross all kinds of boundaries. And then you've got the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. It's this perfect symbol for eternity, for that whole cycle of life, death, and rebirth. What's so amazing is that these symbols are already packed with centuries of meaning. They're like pre-charged batteries that a witch can just plug right into their own work. Okay, now we get to what is, for me, one of the most brilliant and honestly surprising parts of the whole book. Get this. It takes a formal problem-solving method from mathematics and applies it directly to casting spells. I know, right? So there was this mathematician, George Polya, and he came up with this super elegant 4-step way to solve really tough math problems. It's just a logical process. First, you got to understand the problem. Then, you make a plan. 3, you carry it out. And 4, and this is key, you look back and see how it went. Now look at this. You can lay that exact same framework right over spellcasting. It fits perfectly. And this simple change is a total game changer. It transforms magic from just, wishful thinking into a deliberate, repeatable process. You're not just hoping something works anymore. You're actually engineering a result. And maybe most important of all, you're learning every single time. And this right here is the whole point. When you use a method like this, a spell that fails isn't a failure at all. It's just data. It's your chance to look back, figure out what happened, and tweak your recipe for the next time. It really treats magic like any other skill, something you get better at with practice, not just some random miracle you cross your fingers and hope for. So, this whole idea of a logical, step-by-step process, it leads right to the book's biggest takeaway, and it really brings everything full circle. At the end of the day, the real work isn't in a book. The real teacher is you. I just think this is such a powerful way to put it. The author's not handing you a rulebook you have to follow forever. No way. She's giving you a scaffold, a temporary structure to help you get started building. But once you've built your own thing, your own practice, you're supposed to kick that scaffold away, burn it down. And really, that's the ultimate message here. The kind of witchcraft this book is talking about isn't something you learn from a dusty old tome by memorizing rules. It's something you create. It's a craft that you forge yourself through your own experiments, your own reflections, and by really getting to know your own power. So the book kind of leaves you with this final challenge, this one big question. It's not about finding the perfect spell someone else wrote. It's about becoming the architect of your own magic. The challenge is to stop looking for answers and start building them. So the question is, what would you try to build first?